Very good morning, students. Let us see the next topic, that is determination of hardness of water by using EDTA method. So here by using EDTA method, we are going to find the hardness of given water sample. That means how much of hardness is there in the given water sample. Whether the water sample is having around 20 ppm hardness or 30 ppm hardness or 500 ppm hardness, that we are going to check by using EDTA method. So this method is part of our laboratory experiment also. In the experiment, we are going to find the hardness of given water sample. So whatever the water sample you can use, and by using EDTA method, we can find the hardness of different kinds of water sample. Here EDTA is one of the reagent. By using this reagent, we are going to find the hardness of given water sample. It is a simple technique. It is one of the simple titration. Everyone you know about the titrations, how to do the titrations. It is also a simple titration. By using this titration, we are going to find the hardness of given water sample. And here the EDTA method is one of the complexometric titration. It is one of the complexometric titration. A complexometric titration is nothing but the titration in which complex reagents are used and one of the complex compound is forming at the end point. If you are using complexing agent, that is called the complexometric titration. So it is comes under complexometric titration. Let us just look at the EDTA method. This is a complexometric method where EDTA is used as the reagent. And here EDTA full form is ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Here this is the full form of EDTA, and this EDTA is one of the complexing agent. So this method is called complexometric method. And here whatever the EDTA is using, this EDTA is forms the complex with different metal ions at different pH. What I'm saying here, EDTA is forming the complex with different metal ions at different pH. What are the metal ions? Where the metal ions are existing in the water sample? We know that the hard water sample is having calcium +2 and magnesium +2. These are acting as a metals here. And here, whatever the EDTA we are using to find out the hardness, that EDTA is reacting with calcium +2 and magnesium +2 in the given water sample. So immediately that EDTA is reacting with the calcium +2 and magnesium +2 and forming a complex. That complex is the calcium EDTA complex and magnesium EDTA complex. And calcium and magnesium ions forms complex with EDTA only at pH 9 to 10. So only at this pH range, this complex is forming. What is the complex here? Calcium EDTA complex and the magnesium EDTA complex. This complex is forming only at this pH range. That means we have to maintain this pH range, because if the pH range is less than 9 or more than 10, is the complex is forming? There is no complex formation at below 9 and more than 10. So we need to maintain the pH range 9 to 10. So to maintain the pH range 9 to 10, we have to use one of the solution. That solution name is the buffer solution. So what is the role of buffer solution? Buffer solution role is to maintain the pH value. So here to maintain this pH range, that is pH 9 to 10, we are using one of the buffer solution. That buffer solution is the ammonium chloride and the ammonium hydroxide. This mixture is acting as a buffer, and this buffer solution is maintaining the pH value 9 to 10. And an alcoholic solution of Eriochrome black tea is used as an indicator. What is the role of indicator? Why we are using the indicator? Indicator role is identifying the endpoint. It is indicating the endpoint by color change. If the two solutions are colorless, what are the two solutions here? One of the solution is taken in the burette and another solution is taken in the conical flask. If the two solutions are colorless, if we are mixing the two solutions, can you identify the endpoint? No, we can't identify the endpoint because the two solutions are colorless. So to identify the endpoint, that means where the reaction completes. To identify the endpoint, we need to use the indicator. That indicator in our complexometric titration is the Eriochrome black tea indicator. Yes, this is acting as an indicator to identify the endpoint. And this indicator also one of the complexic indicator. We can't use the general indicators like phenolphthalein and methyl orange indicator. These are the acid base indicator. These are not suitable in the complexometric titration. So even the indicator also must be suitable in the titration. So here suitable indicator is the Eriochrome black tea indicator. And here the disodium salt of EDTA under the trade name triplex 3 is used for complexation. That means I said here that we are using EDTA as the reagent to find out the hardness. But we are not using direct form of EDTA. We are having direct form of EDTA also, but we are not using direct form of EDTA in our titration. The reason is EDTA is not soluble in the water. It is not completely soluble in the water. Whatever the solutions we are using in the experiment, that must be completely soluble. But our EDTA is not completely soluble. So whatever the salt we are using, whatever the EDTA we are using, that must be completely soluble. Here bisodium salt, that is disodium salt of EDTA is soluble in the water. So we are using disodium salt of EDTA. This name is the triplex 3. It is used in the complex titration. So these are the basic points in the EDTA titration. Just let us again recall this. Just again, let us read out this. This is one of the complexometric titration. And in this, we are using EDTA as a reagent. And whatever the EDTA is used in the titration is reacting with the metal ions at different pH. And this EDTA is reacting with the calcium +2 and magnesium +2 ions in the given water sample at pH 10 only. That means at 9 to 10 only. So to maintain this pH range 9 to 10, we are using the buffer solution. The buffer solution is the ammonium chloride and the ammonium hydroxide. What is the rule of buffer solution? The rule of buffer solution is to maintain the pH value 9 to 10. And we are using one of the indicator to identify the endpoint by color change. That is Eriochrome black tea indicator. And one more thing, the important point is we are not using direct form of EDTA. We are using disodium salt of EDTA because which is soluble in the water. And these are the structures of EDTA and disodium salt of EDTA. What is the full form of EDTA? Ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. This is the full form of EDTA. Ethylene CH2, that is ethylene diamine 2 nitrogens tetraacetic acid. This is the EDTA structure. But we are not using direct form of EDTA. We are using bisodium salt. So in the place of 2 hydrogens, we are writing 2 sodiums. That is bisodium salt of EDTA. See here, we can write any 2 hydrogens. We can write in the place of any 2 hydrogens 2 sodiums. Here I have mentioned in the place of these 2 hydrogens 2 sodiums. This is bisodium salt of EDTA. Why we are using disodium salt of EDTA? Because it is soluble in the water and it is not soluble in the water. And this is metal EDTA complex. I said now that calcium and magnesium are reacting with this EDTA to form the complex. That is a calcium EDTA and the magnesium EDTA. This is the complex structure. See here, this is the complex structure. It is changing its direction. Yes, this is metal EDTA complex structure. And now let us see the basic principle. What is the principle involving in this experiment? When hard water comes in contact with EDTA, because we are using EDTA to find out the hardness of given water sample. What is a water sample here? Hard water is a given water sample. So hard water is treating with the EDTA. But here I said that whatever the calcium +2 and magnesium +2 ions are present in the hard water, these are reacting with EDTA only at pH 9 to 10. So to maintain this pH 9 to 10, we are using the buffer solution. Yes. So when hard water comes in contact with EDTA at pH 9 to 10, the calcium plus 2 and magnesium plus 2 forms a stable colorless complex with EDTA. See here, we are not using any indicator here. In this step, we are not using any indicator. Directly when hard water is treating with EDTA at pH 9 to 10, calcium plus 2, magnesium plus 2 in hard water are directly reacting with EDTA to form a stable and colorless complex. But if we are getting colorless complex, we can't find out the end point. So we are using the EBT indicator. So when we are using EBT indicator, we are not getting a stable complex initially. We are getting one of the unstable complex. This unstable complex further titrating with the EDTA. So what we are doing here, initially we are taking the hard water sample. What are the ions present in the hard water sample? Calcium plus 2 and the magnesium plus 2. This hard water sample is mixing with the indicator. These are taking place in the conical flask. So initially we are taking the water sample in the conical flask and adding 2 to 3 drops of EBT indicator at pH 9 to 10. We know to maintain pH 9 to 10, what we are adding? We are adding the buffer solution also in the conical flask. So what are the things we are adding in the conical flask? The water sample, EBT indicator and the buffer solution. So when we add the EBT and buffer solution in the water, we are getting an unstable wine red color. That is calcium EBT and the magnesium EBT. So whatever the wine red color solution is forming in the conical flask is titrating with the EDTA which we are taking in the burette. That means EDTA is taken in the burette and slowly we are releasing EDTA from the burette to the conical flask. That means to the wine red color solution. So when EDTA is mixing with the wine red color solution, at one of the point, the color will be changing to blue color. That will be the stable complex. So to the hard water sample, the blue colored indicator EBT is added along with a buffer solution. And EBT forms an unstable wine red color complex with calcium plus 2 and magnesium plus 2. This is this step. So now what happens here? Whatever the calcium EBT, magnesium EBT are forming. When we are doing this reaction in the absence of EBT. That means directly EDTA. When we are adding directly EDTA, we are getting a stable and the colorless complex. So we can't find out the end point. So this is the basic principle is involving in this experiment. So the wine red colored complex. What is a wine red color complex here? Calcium EBT and the magnesium EBT. So the wine red color complex is titrating with the EDTA, replaces EBT from calcium EBT and magnesium EBT. So when we are releasing EDTA from the burette, the EBT will be replacing the EDTA and forms a stable blue color complex. That is calcium EDTA and magnesium EDTA. So hence the color change at the end point is wine red to blue color. So initially we got the wine red, that is unstable complex, which is titrating with the EDTA till the color changes to blue. So the titration is carried out in the following step. So this is the principle. Yes, this is the basic principle is involving in this experiment. So now let us see the preparation of the chemicals in this experiment. But before that, what are the chemicals we are using in this experiment? One is EDTA and another one is a buffer solution and another one is a EBT indicator. But before going to do this experiment, initially we don't know what is the EDTA hardness. To find out the water hardness, to find out the water sample hardness, initially we have to find out the other sample, whatever we are using, that sample hardness must be known. What sample we are using? We are using EDTA. If two are unknown, we can't find out anyone. Yes, to find out water sample hardness, EDTA hardness must be known. So to find out EDTA hardness, we are preparing a standard hard water. Standard is nothing but known. Standard hard water is nothing but whose hardness is known. So we are preparing the standard hard water also. So we are preparing the 4 chemicals. One is a standard hard water, and the second one is a EDTA, and the third one is a buffer solution, and the last one is a EBT indicator. So first let us see how to prepare the chemicals. So first one is a preparation of standard hard water. To prepare the standard hard water, we can use either calcium containing compounds or magnesium containing compounds, because these two are hardness causing agents. So we can use either calcium or magnesium containing compounds. So here we are preparing the hard water, that is standard hard water, by using calcium carbonate. So initially dissolving 1 gram of pure dry calcium carbonate in minimum quantity of dilute HCl. So initially what we are doing, we are mixing the calcium carbonate in the minimum amount of hydrochloric acid and evaporating the solution to dryness on the water bath. So this mixture is keeping on the water bath for the evaporation. So when it is evaporating, we will get a dried compound. This dried compound is mixing in the water. So dissolve this residue in the distilled water. Yes, whatever the water we are using in the chemistry lab, that must be the distilled water. So dissolve the residue in the distilled water to make 1 liter in the standard flask and shake well. So whatever the salt here dried, that is the calcium carbonate, this calcium carbonate is mixing in the 1 liter distilled water. That is the preparation of standard hard water. So how we are preparing the standard hard water? Initially taking 1 gram of calcium carbonate and adding a minimum amount of hydrochloric acid, and this mixture is keeping on the water bath until dried, and the dried calcium carbonate is mixing or dissolving in the 1 liter of the distilled water. And the second one is a preparation of EDTA solution. What is the second solution? Preparation of EDTA solution. For preparing EDTA solution, we are dissolving 4 grams of pure EDTA crystals along with 0.1 gram of magnesium chloride in 1 liter of distilled water. So how we are preparing? Dissolving 4 grams of EDTA along with 0.1 gram of magnesium chloride in the 1 liter distilled water. That is preparation of EDTA. And the next one is the preparation of indicator. Preparation of the indicator. How we are preparing the indicator? Dissolving 0.5 grams of indicator in 100 ml of alcohol. Here we can use either methanol or ethanol. That means methyl alcohol or ethyl alcohol. So simple method, this is 0.5 grams of EBT is dissolving in the 100 ml alcohol. And the next one is a preparation of buffer solution. What is the buffer solution here using? Ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide. What is the role of buffer solution? To maintain the pH value 9 to 10. So here we are preparing the buffer solution by taking 67.5 grams of ammonium chloride to 570 ml of concentrated ammonia solution. And this is dissolving in the distilled water. So this ammonium chloride, ammonia and water are forming ammonium chloride and the ammonium hydroxide. This is the preparation of buffer solution. And the next step is the standardization of EDTA. This is the preparation of chemicals. Now we have seen how to prepare the chemicals. Now we have the experimental procedure. Experimental procedure is nothing but we have to do that process by using burette and the conical flask. So what is the initial step? What I said now, before going to find out the hardness of hard water, we have to find out what is the hardness of EDTA. So we have to standardize EDTA. That means we have to find out the hardness of EDTA. So the first step is the standardization of EDTA. For standardizing EDTA, initially pipetting 20 ml of standard hard water. Already we have prepared this. In the first step, we have prepared the standard hard water. So first pipette out 20 ml of standard hard water into a clean conical flask and adding 2 to 3 ml of buffer solution and adding 2 to 3 drops of EBT indicator. This we have seen in the reaction. Here we have seen this 20 ml of water, 2 to 3 drops of EBT indicator, 2 to 3 ml of buffer solution. These are taking place in the conical flask. So what color we will get in the conical flask initially? We will get a wine red color solution. That's what we have mentioned here. Initially, we are pipetting 20 ml of standard hard water in the conical flask and adding 2 to 3 ml of buffer solution, 2 to 3 drops of EBT indicator. So we will get a wine red color solution in the conical flask. So titrate this wine red colored complex with EDTA taken in the burette after rinsing it with EDTA solution till the wine red color changes to clear blue. So what we are doing, this wine red color is titrating with the EDTA till the color changes to blue. So when the blue color is appearing, note down the end point from the burette. Whatever the volume is consuming, that volume will be the end point here. So note the burette reading and let the volume be XML. Just let us assume maybe 7 ml required or 10 ml required or 20 ml required for color changing from wine red to blue. So let us assume that endpoint as the XML. So repeat the titration to get concurrent values. We have to do this process until get the concurrent reading. Until get the same reading, we have to do this process. Yes. So finally, whatever the reading we got the same, continuous reading should be same. When we will get the two continuous readings, let us assume that endpoint as the XML. So that is standardization of EDTA. After that, we have to use our water sample. That means whatever the water sample is given by the ma'am. Yes, whatever the water sample is given in the laboratory, that water sample you are going to check. You are going to find out the hardness of that water sample. Yes, so that is standardization of hard water sample. So let us pipette out 20 ml of water sample into a 250 ml conical flask and add 2 to 3 ml of buffer solution, 2 to 3 drops of EBT indicator. Same process, but in the places of standard hard water, we are using the hard water sample which is given. That is a sample water. So we will get a wine red color solution. This wine red color solution is titrating with the EDTA till the color changes to blue. Same like this, same like the previous step. Repeat the titration till the color changes to blue and do this process until get the concurrent reading. Concurrent is nothing but two continuous reading should be same. Now let us assume the end point will be YML. And here the end point is XML and here the end point is YML. And the next one, standardization for permanent hardness. So whatever we have done here, that is for total hardness. I explained in the last class what is mean by the total hardness. Total hardness is nothing but sum of temporary and the permanent hardness. Yes. So here this is the total hardness. And we can also find out the permanent hardness separately. In the previous step, we have found only the total hardness. Now we are going to find out the permanent hardness also, because our aim is we have to find out temporary separately, permanent separately, total hardness separately. Already we found the total hardness. Now let us find out the permanent hardness. So for finding permanent hardness, let us pipette out 100 ml of hard water sample in a beaker and boil till the volume reduces to 20 ml. Until it reduces to 20 ml, heat the water, boil the water. And all the bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium decomposes to calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide. Why we are boiling the water? What is the need of boiling the water? Because we are finding only permanent hardness. We are not finding the temporary hardness. What is temporary hardness? In temporary hardness, calcium and magnesium in the form of bicarbonates. But how to remove the temporary hardness? Temporary hardness can be removed by the boiling method. So we are removing the temporary hardness by the boiling. So when we are boiling, all the bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium are removing. So whatever the things are present, whatever the salts are present in the water, those are the permanent hardness causing agents. Yes. So now we are using the 20 ml of water to find out the permanent hardness. So cool the solution. That means whatever the 20 ml we got, cool that water and filter the water into a flask. First filter that water and wash the beaker and precipitate with distilled water and add washing to conical flask. That means here we are adding some amount of water here. and add 2 to 3 ml of buffer solution and 2 to 3 drops of EBT indicator in the conical flask and titrate it with EDTA till the color changes to blue. So whatever we got 20 ml here, first filter that water. After filtering, take that water in the conical flask, add EBT buffer solution. We will get a wine red color solution. This wine red color is titrating with the EDTA till the color changes to blue. So now let us assume the reading as a ZML until do the titration concurrent. Yes. So until get the concurrent reading, repeat the titration and assume that reading as a ZML. So initially we got the endpoint as XML. For total hardness, we got YML. For permanent hardness, we got ZML. So now this is the time for the calculation. So let us do the calculation in our laboratory. We are going to do in terms of normality. Even you can follow this, you can follow the molarity also, but I'm explaining the molarity in theory. Yes. So molarity, sorry, a molarity of standard hard water solution is 0.01 molarity that we have calculated here. Molarity of standard hard water we got that is 0.01. How we got molarity? By doing weight and molecular weight of calcium carbonate. We have taken calcium carbonate 1 gram here. So weight of calcium carbonate 1, molecular weight is 100 for the calcium carbonate. So we got 0.01. That is a molarity of calcium carbonate. That is a standard hard water. So molarity of standard hard water is 0.01. Now we are going to find out the molarity of EDTA solution. Molarity is nothing but concentration. Yes, we know this molarity and we have to find out this EDTA. So by using M1V1 by N1 is equals to M2V2 by N2. Here N1 and N2 are number of moles of EDTA and hard water. N1 and N2 are 1. We know already M1 for calcium carbonate, M2 for EDTA. We know M1, we have to find out M2. We know V1 and V2. This is for calcium carbonate and this is for EDTA. What is mean by V1? V1 is nothing but volume of EDTA and V2 means volume of, sorry, here V1 is nothing but volume of standard hard water and here V2 is nothing but volume of EDTA. So how much we have pipetted in the water? How much we have pipetted in the conical flask? We have taken 20 ml in the conical flask. So 20 ml of standard hard water, molarity is 0.01. V2 we got from the burette, that is XML. Then we can find out the M2. So what is M2 here? Molarity of EDTA. So by using M2, we are going to find out the M3. What is M3 here? M3 is for total hardness. So see here, V1 is for this month. V1 is volume of standard hard water. M1 is molarity of standard hard water. V2 is volume of EDTA. M2 is molarity of EDTA. So M2 is equals to, so M1 V1 by N1 is equals to M2 V2 by N2. But we know N1 and N2 as 1. So we got M1 V1 is equals to M2 V2. If we want M2, M2 is equals to M1 V1 by V2. M2 is equals to M1 V1 by V2. But what is V1? What is the volume of standard hard water? 20 ml we have pipetted. M1 that is 0.01. V2 is the titer value that is from the burette. So we will get this value maybe 10 ml or 20 ml or whatever the volume is consuming. By knowing all the values, we can find out M2. But what is M2? M2 is nothing but molarity of EDTA. So now we got molarity of EDTA. By using molarity of EDTA, we have to find out the hard water sample molarity. That means whatever the sample madam is giving, that sample hardness you are going to find out here. So molarity of hard water sample, we are assuming M3. Now we are using M2 V2 by N2 is equals to M3 V3 by N3. Always M2 for EDTA, M3 for our water sample. So V2 means volume of EDTA, M2 means molarity of EDTA. V3, 3 for our hard water sample. So V3 means volume of hard water sample, M3 means molarity of water sample. So what is our aim here? We have to find out M3 here. V2 is a titer value, that is a YML. V2 is a titer ml, that titer value, that is YML. Sorry, not a 4 ml, YML, that we got in part B in step 2 into M2. Already we got M2 in here. Here we got M2. Substitute that M2 here. V3 is, we have taken 20 ml of hard water sample in the conical flask. So Y into M2 divided by 20, we will get M3. So M3 is the molarity of our hard water sample. Yes. So total hardness of water sample, after getting M3, multiply it with 100 grams per liter. And after that, multiply it with 1000 to convert into ppm. That means the M3 value should be multiplied with 10 power 5 to get the hardness, that is in ppm. Yes. So that is the total hardness of water sample. So here we got the total hardness. By knowing M2, we can find out M4 also. Permanent hardness of water is equals to M2V2 by N2 is equals to M4V4 by N4. No need of M3 here. M2V2 by N2 is equals to M4V4 by N4. M2V2 by N2 for EDTA and M4V4 by N4 for our hard water sample, that is for boiled water sample. So M2 we know that is molarity of EDTA. V2 is the volume of EDTA and V4 is a volume of our boiled water. M4 is a molarity of our water sample, that is the permanent hardness. Volume of EDTA we got, that is Z. M2 we got already, and V4 is 100 ml. M4 that we are going to find out. So after getting that, after getting M4, multiply same with 10 power 5 to get into ppm. So here we got the permanent hardness. Here we got the permanent hardness. Here we got the total hardness. Total hardness means M3 into 10 power 5. Permanent hardness means M4 into 10 power 5. By knowing permanent and total, can't we find out temporary? Yes, we can find. Temporary means total minus permanent. Then we will get the temporary hardness of water sample. Yes. So this is determination of hardness of water sample by using EDTA method. It is very, very, very important question in the external examination. And also it is very, very important in the chemistry lab. Yes. And remaining, we will see in the next class. And thank you so much.